What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this stream. Streaming UFC 4 fights. Obviously, we can't do anything with the UFC 5 game. It's a closed beta. Not even sure if I can talk to you guys about this. Feels like all secret. It feels super secretive. I know a lot of people online are trolling that they're going to stream it, talk about it, show all the gameplay. And I'm sure a couple of accounts are doing that. So if you guys want to scavenger out through Twitter or Instagram, you can definitely look into that. But I'm not willing because apparently they are going to ban you, remove your account, and all that good stuff. So we're gonna jump right into this fight here. We're in the heavyweight division. I'm gonna choose the Black Beast, Derek Lewis. I usually like to pick fighters that are fighting this weekend, but since there's nothing scheduled for this weekend, I mean, no fighters on the roster on the UFC roster scheduled for this weekend. So usually go with the Derek Lewis. I just need to check something. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. So again, jumping right into this fight here, heavyweight division. Looks like I'm fighting Isaac Frost, which is one of the boxers featured in this game. Obviously, in the new game, well, they're gonna have Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, so that's gonna be pretty interesting. All right, so right off the bat here, whoa, I need to be a little bit more calculated with my Derek Lewis. Oh, he shot for a takedown. Does he think that Derek Lewis can grapple or what? Oh my goodness. The good thing about Isaac Frost in this game is that his hands are powerful, obviously. And these guys usually block low since they know if you're going high, they'll be able to counter with these better boxers. And there it is. So what we got to do something different. We got to do something wild with Derek Lewis. That's what you guys came to see. That's why we see um, Derek Lewis fight. You never know what's going to come out of his arsenal. He has the power, man. I think he holds the record after that flying knee knockout again for the most finishes or most knockouts or something like that. And not just in the heavyweight division, like for everything for all fighters. All right, let's give Isaac Frost a little bit. Let's let him cook here. Let's see what he's trying to do here. Let's let him cook a little bit. Just throwing the 1-2 pretty regularly here. Couple leg kicks. 1-2 again. Pretty basic stuff. But he can get away with it because again, Isaac Frost has hands. He's a boxer in the UFC game. Never understood that, but I guess it makes it a little bit more compelling. Once they come out with the boxing game like EA, like they used to, like the fight nights, I feel like they'll stop doing this. There's just way too many boxers, though, in my opinion. And then owned by different companies or not companies, firms or whatever, leagues, promotions. But we're doing pretty good here. We could possibly steal a round. I feel like we lost the first half of this round. What if we shoot for a takedown? That would be something, huh? Put him on his back foot, then shoot for a takedown, boys. Oh, oh my goodness! Now we no. I was gonna say now we're forced to shoot for the takedown, but so he definitely stole around here, and I'm hurt. I'm super hurt. One thing to remember: I've been playing the closed beta a lot, so it is different. And again, I don't want to talk too much about that. But I think we lost that first round. What do you guys think? Again, Derek Lewis is just doing wonders for us right now. But man, TGIF, Thank God it's Friday. If anybody is doing anything special, make sure to hit me up and invite me. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the Vegas card after this fight. I just wanted to run a few. I believe this is a title match, and if it is, I need to get serious. I'm already hurt again, boys. Yeah, I was gonna say here comes those uppercuts. He wants me to stay away from the body work. I feel like if I just loop something crazy here, I can catch him. There we go. That's what we need from Lewis, man. Let's show him some crazy shit. Oh, those uppercuts are nasty. Oh, that was way too out that I shot for the takedown. This guy's being calculated though. Respect to him. I think he knows it's a title fight, so he can't get too sloppy. At this point, should we just welcome the ground game here? We're about to get knocked out, people. Oh, come on. I've been too far off for the takedown here. At least, like DC says, at least it gives him something else to think about, right? I don't hate that shot when it's clearly like a super bad takedown attempt. He usually gets on the broadcast, but it gives his opponent something else to think about, right? And that's all he says, bro. I mean, I get it, he's a wrestler, but yeah, we're gonna have to counter this guy now. Oh, he's going for those takedowns. Why not get one of our own? Oh, he got up right away. Right back down, boys. Come on. I hate when this camera moves like this because you don't know what's gonna happen next. Let's go, big black beast. I went the wrong side. We need to beat this dude up, man. Possibly steal the round here. No, I think he knocked me down. So if anything, he's gonna be 2-0, and we're gonna have to look for the knockout in the third round. What's going on here? Let's finish this. Come on, Black Beast, empty the tank. He's not gonna have any gas for the third round. All right, I think we're still down 2-0. I think we're down 2-0. We need a stoppage here. And it is a championship fight because those the in between round banners are gold, so that's what it means. No, now he's looking for the takedown. He wants to give it back. This is another thing that DC says on the broadcast. He's like, "You make the striker wrestle. They're not used to this. Their body's not used to this." Oh, he wants to beat me up. He wants to give me that. What are we doing here? Are we going back to the Pride days? He wants to just give me back all those strikes that I landed on in the second round. What is he doing? There we go. Let's get back up. I mean, if anything, he has the striking advantage for sure. If he lands a solid 1-2 on me, I think that's it for Lewis. No. Last 2 minutes. Oh my goodness. Night three piece in a soda. This could be it here. Yeah, that's it. Jesus. Isaac Frost gets it done, and the guy's trolling. Thanks. I always say well played, respect. He's level 91 though, so and he hits me with the respect back. Pretty good fight. Pretty good fight. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But again, we had Derek Lewis. We did what we could with what we had. All right, so let's jump into UFC Vegas 79. Unfortunately, we lost that. If we have a little bit of time at the end of the stream here, we'll run another match. For now, we're going to be in the lobby. And let's put our attention towards UFC Vegas 79. Short fight card. Not too much to be excited about. Well, I say that, but if you're one of those hardcore MMA fans, there's actually some low key bangers on here. So again, I believe it's an 11 fight card. It is an 11 fight card. So let's get right into the opener, the curtain jerker. We have Montserrat Rendon and Tamires Vidal. A lot of question marks here, especially for Montserrat Rendon. Tamires Vidal, we know what she likes to do. I would say, I'm not sure if I would say she's a more UFC experienced fighter. She has one fight in the UFC, so which she won by round one knockout against Ramona Pascual, which is nothing to go crying home about, right? But she did have a fight with Eileen Perez as well. Here, let's pull up the. Oh, and I feel like I'm lagging right now. If I'm lagging so bad, it's it's definitely the heat here in South Texas, bro. Let me check my. Yeah, I'm gonna disconnect from my other devices because I feel like I'm lagging so bad. I shouldn't. It's not even loading up pages. It's crazy. Again, Tamires Vidal, she beat a Ramona Pascual, which is, I mean, at this point, she's just a tune-up fight for people. But I guess you can. I mean, not that I guess you can say she has more UFC experience. She actually fought in the UFC, so that automatically gives you that pass. But let me put this on here. Let me remove. And man, if I'm lagging, this is bad. This is real bad. I definitely blame the heat in Texas though. And I have fiber internet, so I'm chilling. Okay, let's see if I can share my screen here. And we're only gonna really talk about 3 fights on the fight card. because I just want to highlight the three fights, and this curtain jerker is one of them. And then we kind of move into a couple of snooze fest, unless you're one of those hardcore fans. We'll maybe talk about four fights. Now that I'm looking at the whole fight card, there's some that are pretty straightforward for you guys. Well, again, unless you're one of those people that like to look at the lines and get swayed by that. But we definitely need to talk about this first card, or this first fight on the card. Let's go back. Okay. So again, we have Montserrat Rendon, Mexican fighter, fighting out of Cancun. Anybody vacation there? Cancun, Quintana Roo. I know for anybody in the Mexican MMA scene, I know they just had an event there from Mexico MMA. I believe it's the promotion. That's what it's called. But they just had an event there maybe a month and a half ago, which was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. If you guys know who Cartel de Santa is, they performed in that event. And I think they had a couple of I'm not sure if they were kids or teenagers, but it was two little girls that duked it out for like 3 rounds. You guys have to if they have it on YouTube, you have to watch that. That was freaking amazing to watch. But the whole fight card was pretty cool. I know a couple UFC fighters were out there. Brandon Moreno. What's her name? Man, I forgot her name. But she trains in Vegas as well. But they're pouring some fire into that market, and obviously the UFC is making a big push after the Noche UFC. You saw how Dana White was so excited. And recently, with the fight that they announced for the flyweight title, I believe it's on purpose. I believe they want to say they saw what happened in Noche UFC. They said, you know what, let's get the narrative on whoever wins that flyweight match, which whether it's Royval or Pantoja, the UFC is going to win. And if the UFC keeps their promise, as I feel like they will, everybody thought they were going to go to Mexico in 2023. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, even with champions on their side. 2024, I do believe we'll see UFC Mexico. Again, the narrative on the flyweight championship, they wanted to get it rolling. Get either Pantoja or Royval the belt. And there's a storyline there for Moreno. There's a storyline there for either of them. If Royval wins, which that's my pick, again, once we get closer to that, we'll take a closer look into that. Then the Moreno Royval 2 is going to be the big narrative for that championship fight. If Pantoja wins, then you have 2 title fights with a rematch, a third. Well, what is it? Would that be Moreno and Pantoja 3 or 4? It would be 3. No, it would be 4, right? Well, if you count the Ultimate Fighter. And then Grasso Shevchenko. So again, I believe the UFC smart with this, man. They're already steps ahead, years ahead of the whole fan base and our matchmaking. So they got that on lock. They'll put Moreno on there. They couldn't risk putting Moreno in an immediate title match in December, and then he loses again, and then again title fights in a market that you're going to go back to is just that much bigger. And obviously they're going to pay-per-view it, so they already said Raul Rosa is going to be there. But again, that's in the future. Let's get right back into this card here. So Montserrat Rendon versus Tamiris Vidal. So let's look at Montserrat Rendon's competition. She is 5-0. Montserrat monster. That kind of it's. Montserrat, age 34 here. She's bigger. She looked taller. She looked leaner than Tamiris Vidal. She's in a 5-fight win streak or 7-fight win streak, including her amateurs. So she's a heavy jiu-jitsu girl, heavy jiu-jitsu gal. She's fought in Invicta once, went to a decision split, freedom fight night, that that promotion is pretty freaking cool as well. Follow them on Instagram. I'm not sure what their Instagram is, but that promotion is awesome. And they have a lot of content through Instagram as well. So go ahead and follow Freedom Fight Night on Instagram if you don't already, and also follow your boy CeeLo at CeeLo Studios Presents and chop it up there. So today's Friday. Weigh-ins are they didn't have a ceremonial weigh-ins, but for these fight night cards, it's usually just face-offs. Um, so yeah, let's talk about this here. I keep getting distracted. And she also fought in Combate Global. Oh, what the hell? I was supposed to bring this up for you guys. Come on. Why is nobody telling me anything? Let me see here. What is this? Okay. Let's go to. Let's share our screen here. Why do I have Ramona Pascual up? Oh, God. There we go. Much better. So we were looking at Montserrat Rendon's record. Again, she's mainly a jiu-jitsu girl. I think that's how she started. That's her base. Um, and she's had fights, and she lost to Juliana Miller in a grappling match in Combat Jiu-Jitsu Mexico. I know she does a lot of jiu-jitsu, so she's a savage, man. And with those long limbs, we saw what Zahuber did. Not comparing them, but we saw what Zahuber did. Um, where it gets easier when you have those longer arms, longer legs to lock in submissions, and especially in the situations where you're completely in an emergency route, whether your opponent's hurt or you're hurt. Um, Usually, that's your bread. When that's your bread and butter, that's pretty cool to see. Um, Whenever you do end up getting the finish. So again, she's on a 5 or 7 fight win streak, including the amateurs. As you can see here, the leaner fighter. She looked good in the weigh-ins. Don't pay attention to the weigh-ins much because usually what people do, people that bet or people that follow the sport, they see a matchup like let's say right now where we had Brandon Royval and Alexandre Pantoja get announced, and then you kind of just make a pick, right? You kind of say, "Oh, well, I got Royval in that fight," but then as the months go on, days go on, as it gets closer, you might change your opinion. But then, if you change your opinion right up until weight time or weight cut time, let's say you were on Royval for 3 months, and then he has a tough weight cut, and then you're jump to Pantoja, and then Royval ends up winning. You're going to beat yourself up about that. So, um, man, we keep getting distracted. Let's get right to this fight. Montserrat Rendon looks the bigger fighter in the weigh-ins. She looked as the clear-cut bigger fighter. What is going to be the X factor in this fight? Well, let's take a look how they stack up. Again, Tamiris Vidal last fight in the UFC with Ramona Pascual gives me nothing. That teaches me nothing. Ramona Pascual is, I believe she has like a 50-50 record. She did fight Aline Perez, Samurai Fight House, LFA, no, IAF, Shoot to Brazil. So again, it's not. She's in the current 6 fight win streak. Let's see how they stack up here. For minus 250 on Vidal, I just believe people don't know who Rendon is. They see that she's a almost 35-year-old and no UFC experience. And I get it. The line, I guess, makes sense. At minus 250, I'm not sure. Maybe high 100s, low 200s, maybe 225 would be the max. Like, obviously, we're not going to be looking at money lines here. But 5 fight win streak for both, or seven, or in their last 5 fights, should tell you something. should tell you that their experience, they have some sort of skill. You don't go 5-0 or 5-5 win streak for nothing. It's MMA, anything can happen. But if we go just on pure pick, for me, I would go Montserrat and Don. I'm not sure if I have any. I have not even looked. I haven't placed any bets. My bets usually get placed late Friday after I run through these things again, or sometimes even early Saturday. Um, and again, if you want to share your picks with me, if you want me to share my picks with you, I don't bet every single fight. It does not make sense to do that unless you're betting minimal amount of money just to make the fight more interesting. Then go for it. That's all. You never going to tell anybody what to bet on, what not to bet on. Um, but this is a spot where, especially for people that play DraftKings, the daily fantasy, you might want to look at Montserrat Rendon just because you never know, right? That submission factor is there. Again, she's a bigger body. Will she just freeze up and not come to fight? Could be. Will Tamires Vidal be more aggressive? Her power will show early? Could be. But at these numbers, with a lot of unknowns, other than Tamires Vidal has one UFC fight against Ramona Pascual, tells me nothing. This shouldn't be that high. So straight pick, I'll go Montserrat Rendon, maybe by submission. I don't know. We're not going to talk about Hannah Godi and Mizuki Nue. Hannah Godi looks jacked as always. Moving on. Jake Collier, Muhammad Usman. Another one of those where Jake Collier is the dog. You might want to look into Jake Collier. But in my humble opinion, I believe they're throwing a bone for Muhammad Usman. Let's take a look at these guys' last fights, just so we can confirm what we're thinking right off the bat. And again, if I'm lagging, guys, I completely apologize. I'm gonna look into it. If anything, I'll delete the stream if it's super freaking laggy. But it's annoying. I know I've been having issues with my, and I have a Wi-Fi 6 mesh router, so we should be chilling. Again, it's just since we have a fiber internet and they come in, well, pretty much the lines run through the bottom of the ground, and apparently we've been on such a drought. I believe we had rain like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but was not nearly enough for what temperatures we've been getting. I believe we're like at 103 today, or right now, 103 with a feels like 106. That doesn't make sense. If it feels like 106, then it's 106. Anyways, um, let's go to Muhammad Usman's fights. Actually, no. Let's start with the dog. Let's start with the dog. Always start with the dog. Jake, the prototype Collier, 13-9, very impressive record. Current streak in his fights is 3 losses. Age 34, heavyweight division. Much doesn't hold much importance in the heavyweight division. But let's look at his last 3 fights. Martin Boudet lost as a decision. Martin Boudet is pretty good fighter. So no knock on him there. Chris Barnett, man, Chris Barnett, he's just a fan favorite. You can't dog him. But he's such a small not body, but a small size as far as height is concerned for heavyweights. Pretty crazy to me. And then it lost to decision as a split decision to Andrei Arlovsky. Had a canceled bout with Justin Tafa, thank God, because he would have got KO'd. He beat Chase Sherman, but who hasn't beat Chase Sherman in the heavyweight division? So he has some UFC fights under his belt. And the only reason he's not cut is because they need heavyweights as fill-in spots here. Same reason why Chase Sherman hasn't been cut. Or I believe he's been cut now. I'm not sure. Moving on. He beat John Vellante. John Vellante was such a letdown. After all the talk, such a letdown. But this guy used to be, I believe, he used to be a middleweight or a light heavyweight. Crazy, crazy talk. That's crazy talk. So again, back to my initial thoughts. I do think they're throwing a bone to Mohammed Usman. Why you say? Why you may ask? I just think Mohammed Usman. They're trying to. It's the same narrative with Shevchenko. No, let's get back to these fights because we'll go down a rabbit hole and we make these streams longer than they should be when we should be talking about UFC Vegas 79 and we should be talking that it's Friday, TGIF. And positive vibes only, guys. I preach that a lot. I am on Instagram and we are on different groups. Again, I have mentioned this before. There's a lot of cool pages out there. There's a lot of troll pages out there. There's a lot of trolls in general in the MMA community. Nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But I try to keep a positive vibes around here, around anything I do. If I don't agree with you in some things, we don't have to have a malicious conversation. We could just debate. That's life, right? But yeah, check it out at CeeLo Studios Presents, YouTube at CeeLo Studios Presents, Twitch at CeeLo Studios Presents. We'll be on these streams here, and my watch is reminding me to walk. Had a good workout this morning. Ended up going for a 15-minute run. You guys would say, "Oh, what's 15 minutes?" I've been trying to get back into running, so that for me is pretty good. Okay, Mohammed Usman, the Motor. I didn't know that was his nickname, but okay. He's in a current four-fight win streak. Obviously, a heavyweight. Not, I mean, he looks big for the division, but he's not the biggest. Fighting around 230, 240 pounds. So let's take a look at his fights here. The Ultimate Fighter, Mitchell Sipe, exhibition fight. Eduardo Perez, he beat him by split. Eduardo Perez, I wonder what happened to him. He was a good prospect in the Ultimate Fighter. I wonder, I should look into him. Zach Pauga, which is definitely not a heavyweight, he knocked them clean out in the second round. And then Junior Tafa, we saw him just wrestle him to the ground. And that's part of the reason why I feel like he will win this fight. Because if you wanted him to bang it out with Junior Tafa, who just had a round one knockout, I mean, come on, man. Like, if that's not your path to victory, that's not your path to victory. And I understand that sometimes people are, well, he's holding on for dear life, no damage on the ground, blah, 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 blah. But it's not his fault. If he decided to wrestle and didn't do damage and the judges gave the fight to him, he got the win. If he would have lost, I mean, I guess so be it, right? But as of right now, we're seeing that he has a W against Junior Tafa as a unanimous decision. Junior Tafa, if that fight if he could have kept the standing, I believe he would have knocked out Usman. But again, I feel like that's the reason why they're trying to give him somebody fairly easy. I'm not going to say super easy because obviously it's the heavyweight division. Anything can happen. But I do feel like they're banking on Usman to get a big knockout just so they can squeeze some money out of the Usman name. That's the way the UFC works, man. But sometimes narratives don't go as promised. So slight favorite for Muhammad Usman, minus 140. Both similar age. Crazy to me that Jay Collier is coming in way heavier. So it'd be interesting to see if this got into a grappling match or like it got into any sort of ground game. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But Jay Collier could sneak in 2 out of 3 rounds and take the fight, man. So that's definitely not a bad um, not a bad spot to look into for Jay Collier. But straight pick, we're gonna go with Usman. I believe he gets it done. And again, I just think it's just the UFC throwing him a bone here of a slightly easier fight. But it's the heavyweight division. I rarely bet on heavyweight fights. Rarely. Reason why is because well, we just I mean, these lines are pretty good for Jake Collier and Usman, but usually one fighter just looks either the heavy favorite looks like a pick'em or the underdog looks like a heavy favorite. Like you just never know. And I feel like you can say that about every division, but usually in the heavyweight division, that's just what happens. Jacob Malkoon, Cody Brundage, good fight. Cody Brundage in his last fight just if you haven't seen Mark Montoya and his coach trying to wake him up in between rounds, just explicit, wake up, explicit. Everything you've worked for is going to go off the table, blah, blah, blah. You need to go watch that clip. Just search on Twitter or YouTube Mark Montoya, Cody Brundage, and you'll see what I'm talking about. He has a good camp around him, but Jacob Malkoon, we've seen him. He could potentially use the same game plan Cody Brundage's opponent used against him. I forgot who his opponent was. Was it? Yes, it was Cedricus Dumas, and Cedricus Dumas is not well, now he is. Now you can call him a grappler. Um, he just completely dominated Cody Brundage on the ground. He just completely took his will, took his spirit, and just like this picture looks like he just couldn't get going, man. For 3 rounds, just got completely dominated by somebody that had gotten completely dominated on the ground. So that's cool to see. That's cool to see. Cedricus Dumas is an awesome fighter, fun fighter. I can't wait to see him back in there. So will Jacob Malkoon incorporate that same game plan? That'd be smart of him to do that. Sometimes these guys just go out there, bang it out. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody Brundage knocks Malkoon out cold. We've seen Malkoon get finished in the first round. I believe it was his last fight. No, his last second. 2 fights, 3 fights, 2 fights. No, it was Phil Hall. Phil Hawes, come on. I forgot it was Phil Hawes. Decision wins. But him beating Nick Maximov just gives me the confidence that he can input the game plan to just wrestle Cody Brundage for the 3 rounds. Or maybe find a finish. I don't know. These guys are fun fighters, so again, for picks, it's way different than bets. When you pick a fighter, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to put money on him or it makes sense to put money on him because there's sometimes where there's such heavy favorites or heavy underdogs that they just come through for you. And by that, I mean they either end up finishing in the first round, second round, getting a stoppage, and those odds are just too juiced to pass up on. And that's the reason why I'm saying sometimes the value is on the underdog for sure. Same conversation we were saying where sometimes underdogs come in and look like heavy favorites or heavy favorites look like pick'ems. It's why we love this sport. Tim Means, Andre Fialho. If Tim Means, man, look at the amount of fights this dude has 32, 15, and 1. The Dirty Bird. If he gets knocked out one more time, I mean, or gets stopped, I should say, I don't know. It's a spot where we could be calling for him to retire. We love Tim Means. He's closing the gap on 40. He's a big body for the welterweight division, but he is in a 3-fight losing streak. Max Griffin fight was close, but I do believe Max Griffin did enough to get that win. Loses as a Darce choke to Kevin Holland, and Alex Morono catches him in the guillotine. I mean, his last win was back in June 2021, so about 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. And then before that, his last one was November 2020 against Mike Perry and won unanimously. So definitely hasn't. I mean, he's fought the who's who in the UFC. Look at this. Look at this resume. We love to see Tim Means fight. We do. And if he can stay away from the Fialho power, but I do believe Andrew Fialho's um, back is against the wall here. Came in fighting like I believe he got like 2 or 3 fights within a short period of time, and he was knocking people out. Clearly, the younger fighter here. Um, minus 165. Wow, I thought he'd be a lot heavier favorite. I guess people are going with the narrative that Tim Means is also fighting for his job. If Yahoo loses, definitely it's a spot where he could have been a fraud, right? 16-7. He's on a 3-fight losing streak as well. But out of those 7 losses he has, 4 of them were in the UFC. So he definitely came in with a lot of steam. He took Michel Pereira to a decision. Uh, and I believe he had like a 2 week notice, maybe 1 week notice. So that's super impressive. Then he beats a super surging contender, Miguel Baeza, in the round 1 knockout. Cameron Van Camp knocks him out clean. Then Jake Matthews gives him a little bit of taste of his own medicine. Muslim Salikov does as well. And then Joaquin Buckley does as well. So not these 3 losses that he had. I Jake Matthews, he's been up and down, kind of a letdown. Not a huge name, but he made a name for himself as well. Muslim Salikov is definitely a rising contender, but in that welterweight division, it's pretty stacked. And then Joaquin Buckley, we know the power, knockout of the year, knockout of the century. So both of these fighters, that's the only reason why this fight is going to be such a good fight, because both of their backs are against the wall here. Right off the bat, I just think Fialho has it in him to get it done against Tim Means. Tim Means usually gets in these. He's been in so many wars. We saw the amount of fights he had, but he's been in such battles in there. And speaking of battle, well, let's talk about Miles John, Dan Argueta. I'm just gonna go Miles Johns here. Dan Argueta, you know what he's coming in to do. He's coming in to wrestle, coming in to look for control time. Miles Johns, I feel he's a little bit quicker, a little bit stronger, might catch him. Charles Jourdain, Ricardo Ramos. Man, I love watching Charles Jourdain fight. I love watching him fight, and this is my personal fight to watch this weekend. So let's look at the line here. Minus 145. That's not a bad spot at all. I can tell you right now that I'm probably going to bet his money line at that price. And it's going to swell for sure. Ricardo, he should change his name to spinning back elbow or elbows. Ricardo Elbows. El Codo. That's funny. But yeah, Charles Jourdain is the spot there. More of a biased pick. I just love Charles Jourdain fight. Possibly one of my top, I would say 7, 8 favorite fighters in the UFC roster right now, active. You just have to tune in. I mean, let's take a look at his last fights, man. When he beat Kron Gracie, that was awesome for me because I was on him for Burgos. He lost. Well, controversial loss. I've watched that fight back so many times, and I feel like sometimes I pick Burgos, sometimes I pick Jourdain. And then he lost to Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood is a stud. Um, but his grappling just wasn't there, or Jourdain's grappling just wasn't there for him. And then Kron Gracie, when he beat Kron Gracie, It was awesome because I had backed him for those two fights, and I was like, third time's the charm. Beat Cron Gracie, and now we're back on the wagon. So could be a bad spot for me here, but we're gonna back Charles Jourdain, and that's definitely a bet that I'm gonna be putting in. And then Brian Battle and AJ Fletcher, we love Brian Battle. I love Brian Battle, and not just because of his last performance where he just knocked out this dude, Gabe Green, but he's from a part of Carolina, Charlotte, Carolina. Well, he's a little out of Charlotte, Carolina. He's part of the same. I have family up in North Carolina, and those people can crack, man. Those guys are fighters. So yeah, he's beat Gilberto Urbina, obviously. Gilberto Urbina, one of our natives here from this part of our town, now training in Vegas. That's the best move he could have ever done for his career. He's beat Treshawn Gore, Takashi Sato. He lost to Fakhretdinov as a decision, though. And we know that Fakhretdinov is a machine, right? So we're going to back. I don't anticipate he's much of a heavy favorite here. Never mind, he is minus 190. If it gets to the 200s, I'm not even sure I would want to do that. AJ Fletcher is a good. He's fighting out of Lafayette, Louisiana, so you know he's coming in with that heart, right? Everybody that's fought out of Louisiana has had heart. I just think if he can avoid the takedowns, if he's been working on it, clearly the longer fighter, 10-inch reach advantage. If he's just makes him feel the power and have AJ Fletcher on his skates there a little bit and connects with one. This is definitely going to be a good fight to watch. Possibly my second favorite fight to watch, unless AJ Fletcher finds those takedowns early. That'd be a good spot to look at as well. AJ Fletcher takedown numbers, I believe it should be around 2.5. Because we've seen Battle get taken down by. We can't compare AJ Fletcher to Hinat Rakhnetinov, but a lot of people are on Battle by KO TKO. Fletcher by decision wouldn't be bad either. We're gonna do a little bit more digging. We're gonna do a little bit more digging on this fight, but this is a good fight to bet on. Both young fighters. The narrative is what's in question here, and I love those. I'd love to bet on these kinds of fights because these are the kinds of fights that you can find plus money at for those what do they call it, leverage plays, or man, I just had that word in my head and it just left me. But yeah, we'll definitely look into that one. This is another fight I like. Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Waterson Gomez. Marina Rodriguez has turned out to be sort of a letdown. I would go as far as saying letdown because I believe she was a heavy favorite against Lemos, right? She was a moderate favorite against Lemos, and Lemos just put her out in the third round. After she beat Yan Shannon, which Yan Shannon is no joke. We've seen her, but she beat her at the right time. Yan Shannon was, well, she would definitely shouldn't have been minus 280. And then she comes in against Lemos as a minus 225. And then I believe she was, yeah, at this point, the casinos got it right. She was to pick him against Verna Jandaroba because of the takedowns. Can Michelle Waterson Gomez do that? Can she incorporate? Oh man, she's a minus 310 favorite. Is she really? Huh. This is interesting. So I like to look at these lines late because by then we've seen, again, I talked about this in the last stream. People move the lines from like weeks and 2 weeks. Like people are already betting for like UFC 294. Obviously props come out till like the Thursday or Friday of, depending on your sports book. But this is a good. I mean, they're both. Hmm. Will we want to back the Karate Hottie? Jesus. Watterson by decision wouldn't be too bad. I mean, she's trained out there. She's made the change out to New Mexico. Can she wrestle Marina Rodriguez? That's the question. Actually, in their last fight, I do believe it was closer than anticipated. But the difference now is, can Michelle Watterson go back to that hole that Rodriguez has shown? And again, they did fight at a different weight class, so that does make a little bit more sense, especially at an older age, to cut the extra 10 pounds. I don't know. This is a good spot. I do, man. But at this point, I'd be hit backing a lot of underdogs in this card. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Moving on to Bryce Mitchell, Danny Ige. Speaking of underdogs, Danny Ige can. Bryce Mitchell has been putting out a lot of, I wouldn't say excuses, but a lot of, um, well, let's say excuses. He lost the fight, and he said that he just didn't want to look like a coward against Topuria. But man, I don't care if you were at 100%. Topuria was going to beat you no matter what. Like, you could have came in 110%, but Topuria just ragdolled Mr. Thug Nasty here. And maybe they'll run it back. He should have really fought Movsar Evlev. But can we see Dan Ige 50K connect with a solid hook and put Bryce Mitchell on his emergency jiu-jitsu takedown, head down, kind of like Mr. Sterling, where he just kind of just shoots for the takedown, chest on the ground. Danny Gay training at Extreme Couture and those guys out there, they, I mean, we saw Zell Huber talk about the culture down there in Las Vegas. Look at these guys. I don't know, man. This is another spot where we like the underdog. But what Bryce Mitchell is going to come out here? CRC Arkansas. What Bryce Mitchell we're going to see? The dominant Bryce Mitchell. He's going to come in and look for the takedowns on Ige, and Ige just kind of giving the pitter patter shots off his back. What are we going to see? And this is why we love MMA so much, guys, because the narrative that you like, just, and this is with any sport. I know I do this with football, with NFL a lot. If you're thinking of a narrative, like let's say last week or yesterday, 49ers and Giants, where 49ers are heavy favorites. We ended up going with Elijah Mitchell over his rushing props because we thought if they're minus 10 favorites, they're going to want to run the ball, they're going to want to pound the ball. And on a short notice, or not on a short notice, on a short week, you're not going to want to put McCaffrey out there for the latter half of the game. So you're going to have to give it to somebody else, which is AJ Mitchell. So we went over his over 31 and a half rushing yards. He crushed that. Actually, he didn't crush that, but he pretty much put us in a good spot by halftime. Let's just leave it at that. Back to the MMA here. Bryce Mitchell, Dan Ige, straight pick. I don't know if I'm gonna bet on this fight because there's so many unknowns and featherweights. But I will say that I like Dan Ige at plus 170. And moving on to the main event of the evening. This is gonna be a nice fight to watch. If you guys like violence, that's what you're gonna get with Rafael Fasiv and Mateus Gamrot. Again, those emergency takedowns kind of guy. We saw him get dropped again with an heavy overhand right from Mr. Dariush. Let's look at their last couple fights here. And man, we're getting close to the 1 hour on the stream. We are gonna run one more fight before we get out of here. Let me just get through this main event real quick. And again, it's Friday, guys. So if you guys are working, if you guys are gonna enjoy the weekend, everybody, just do it responsibly. If you guys are gonna watch college football, if you guys are gonna watch NFL on Sunday, we have MMA on Saturday. Actually, we have bare knuckle tonight. That's what we're gonna do. I was gonna say I'm gonna watch the Air Force game, the college football, but we have BKFC tonight. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, so he lost to, and this is Fiziev, lost to Gaethje, the BMF. No shame there. He beat Dos Anjos, knocked, or I want to say knocked him out cold, but he proved in a 5 round fight that he can push the pace and still carry that power in the latter half of the fight. Again, this guy, if you like action, if you like vicious poundings, I would pause. If you like just violence, this is the guy to watch. And that fight, if they run that fight, if he wins and then they ended up running Justin Gaethje Fiziev back, jeez, no problem there. Anyways, he's beat some good, and the way that he's incremented his level of competition is awesome. So he comes into the UFC, loses to Magomed Mustafayev. Then he he fights Alex White, who's not even in the UFC anymore. Fights DKC, fights Moicano, and Moicano he's a stud, man. Fights Bobby Green, Riddell. I believe Riddell was, yeah. I was gonna say that line didn't make sense to me when he fought Riddell. That was easy for us. We've been backing Fiziev here. Dos Anjos in the 5 round war, he was pretty good, pretty sizable favorite there. And then against Gaethje, he was. Or I thought he was the underdog against Gaethje. Anyways, Tiger Muay Thai, he's gonna want to strike. Matheus Gamrot wants to look for the takedown. 22-2 as a professional fighter here. Last loss was to the Rouge. He beat Jalen Turner. I don't agree with that split towards for Gamrot. I do believe it should have been split for Turner and or 29-28 for Turner. But that's neither here nor there. That doesn't matter. We have short what's it called? Memory spans, I guess. So now he's going up against Fiziev. Does he get finished? Does he go out through off 5 rounds? Does he incorporate the wrestling, the pressure to beat Fiziev at plus 130? Again, I do believe this is going to be one of the fights where Fiziev is minus 155 and he might look like a minus 400 if he just comes in, pitter patters in for 1 or 2 rounds, 3 rounds maybe. We see Gamrot shooting for desperate takedowns, and then he puts him out later in the fight, just like he did to Dos Anjos. But Gamrot training out of American Top Team, very solid team around him. Again, 20. You don't go 22-2 for no reason. But can he control Fiziev on the ground? Can he incorporate that game plan that Gaethje kind of made him guess? As a pick 'em fight, I want to go Fiziev, but I do need to, as far as betting is concerned, we do need to look at props on this fight. And it looks like the majority of the people here are on Fiziev as well. So that's a little bit about Vegas 79. Again, not a huge card, not a lot of big names unless you're one of those heavy avid MMA watchers. Montserrat and Don Tamiro's Vidal. I really want to see how Montserrat and Don fares up against Vidal, especially after seeing the weigh-ins. As far as them face to face, that does say a lot. Um, but we have a couple of fights here, and again, I like a lot of underdogs in this card. But obviously, you're not going to bet every underdog on the card. That's just a recipe for um, losing money because they're underdogs for a reason. But if you have a strong take, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. My advice is if you have a strong take on a fight, and let's say you get a pick from somebody, or you hear somebody from me, from another YouTuber, from an MMA page, or you buy picks from somebody and they're betting the other way around, and you have a strong take, like why not go with your gut? Why not go with your gut? Like make your own analysis. If you completely don't even watch MMA at all and you just have no idea and you're blindly following picks, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But again, if you even remotely watch MMA a little bit and you have a strong take or a strong narrative on a fight, dude, trust your gut. Trust your gut. But that's a little bit there on UFC Vegas 79. Oh man, I didn't know my hair was this messed up. Again, I went running for like 15 minutes. Um and it was hot outside. All right. Let's run one match here to end the stream. Let's get the Xbox back up on here. And I promise I'm going to win. I promise. Look at my fight history, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 fights, I went 7-3. And again, I've been playing UFC 5 a lot. So that last loss, I would blame it on that. All right. Let's get our headphones on. Hopefully, we can fight in a weight class where we can sling some leather. Speaking of sling some leather, should we go Fizzy for the vibes? Why not, right? That's what we said in the beginning of the stream. We like to pick fighters that are going to fight this weekend. All right. Wish me luck. Fizzy versus Charles Du Bronx. I like his profile pic. Micah Parsons. I wish we had the option to go 5 rounds. Oh, nice leg kick. We need to establish our jab early against. Oh my goodness. And Charles with that power. I'm getting messed up on the feet. What's going on, Fiziv? To be fair, I don't think I've ever fought with Fiziv. Oh my goodness. He could have knocked me out there. I need to stop swaying my head. Oh. Oh, we got a knockdown here. I think we need to start hitting him in the body. Make him drop his hands here. There we go. Oh my goodness. This is the violence around here. Oh my goodness. I feel like he's looking for the 1-2 high kick here. I got something from here. Watch. That wasn't it. But I'm going to set him up for the body kick. There it is. We need to have him keep blocking high. He's catching onto it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes. I'm not scared to go to the ground with Charles. Let's go. Who won this violence round? I'll be biased and say I won it, but oh, he wants to get back up to his feet. Nice round. Wow. I didn't expect Charles to fight me the way he just did here. We need to be more patient here. Yes. Good start to the second round. Let's hit him with the overhands. What I like to do when they're this hurt, I just spam these overhands. They're going to land. Oh. Those strikes were even? Yes. And finally, he goes to the ground. Again, I'm not scared to fight Charles on the ground. I welcome the ground game here. I have the stamina advantage here, so come on. Oh no. He almost cut. Why did he cancel the submission? He wants to beat me up, man. Jesus. I don't know what his game plan is here. I don't want to make a mistake on the ground, so it's on him to move. I'm losing this round. Oh, but you see, you can't make a mistake. He made the mistake. Now I'm back up to my feet. And he lost some stamina, so I'll welcome the fight. Oh my goodness. Whoa. My heart rate's pretty high, man. I just didn't want to get caught with anything. I didn't want to get caught being stupid. That was a good round, but I want to say it's a 1-1. You never know with these judges, man. We need to break his guard and just hit him with a spinning back fist. Watch. There it is. No. Oh my goodness. I let my guard down. Hopefully we don't get another second round here. Same thing, second round. Really want to win this fight. We're going to wait for him to make the mistake. There it is. Let's go. Let's just beat him up on the ground. Three rounds for a finish. Can we do it? I need to watch his hooks. Oh. He's doing a lot of two-punch combos. Yes. I didn't want to finish him there. I want to knock this dude out cold. Oh, come on. And we're back on top here. Can we finish him? We're going to hit him with the spinning elbow here. Okay, we'll try one more time. If not, we'll go overhand right. But it's on us to finish him. Here it comes. Oh, dropped him with a jab. He's going to hit me with the overhand. Bro, this is a war. Oh, we knocked him out with an elbow from Thailand, bro. Oh my God. Rafael Fiziev. I thought it was going to be a spinning back elbow. Jesus, look at this. Boom. Elbow from Thailand, bro. What a war though. We're just gonna see who was winning the fight up until then. I saw it 1-1, but I could have been up 2-0. Man, that was a nice KO. Makes you want to play again, but 4:30 Central Time, I gotta go do some things. Check this out. Let's check this out. And one judge had it 2018 going to the third, and other judges had it 1-1. I believe the 1-1 was good. Round one, I should have taken it, or I did take it. Round two, I should have won that, but he had half a round of control time. So I had a knockdown on him, so I can see it. I can see it. And obviously, I knocked him out on the third. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Pretty good fight. Props to that dude. I forgot his gamer tag. But again, this stream was pretty. I say this every stream. They go longer than I anticipated, but nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Um, Follow Instagram at Siglo Studios Presents, YouTube at Siglo Studios Presents, Twitch, you guys, whoever guys are here. That way, if we do end up doing a small stream tomorrow, right before the fights, maybe we'll place out some bets out there. But again, whether you tell or not, that's on you. If you have a strong narrative on a certain fight, I would advise you to follow that, because we all see different things in different fighters. Sometimes it works out for the best to go with our gut there. We don't want to have one of those fights where you were on the dog plus money and the favorite loses, and you could have seen yourself with a lot more money. Anyways, we're gonna do a little bit more digging here. Might get on the stream tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll play UFC 4, but we're definitely going to be here to finalize our bets. So, other than that, follow the Instagram, follow the YouTube, like and follow on the Twitch account here. We'll see you on the next stream. Peace.